are no bad guys, just disturbed guys.
National college baseball writer for CSTV, Eric Sorensen.
Speaking of, this is like Christmas Day for me, by the way.
LSU wins it!
All right, just watch out if they show up with those Houston bats at your doorstep.
Cinderella wins the national championship!
He's Eric Sorensen. He knows everything.
The biggest fan of the sport you'll ever find.
Hey there, Stitchheads. Just a word of warning about this week's Baldcast. I will be using some colorful language, so keep the little kiddies out of the living room or the den or the office while you're watching this Baldcast, if you don't mind. Just thought I'd let you know. Wanted to start this week with a quick story about bad fans. You know, bad fans are everywhere, and I just wanted to tell you a quick story about. I had a good friend of mine a couple years back. He's a big Kansas State football fan. And he came out to the Coliseum to see them play SC a couple years ago. Well, we got tickets really late, so we got tickets up in the upper reaches of the stadium. And we were sitting there enjoying the game, and then we noticed that they had this group of mid-20-year-old gangster-looking dudes that kind of looked like they got their drink on in the parking lot before the game. And nonetheless, what I was saying was, so these guys were pretty lubed up before the game, and as you know, as the game went on, they were arguing with each other kind of playfully, saying things like, fuck you, you don't know shit about football. You're like, oh, you're full of shit, you didn't know what was coming next, and that kind of a thing. And they were just kind of amongst each other, yelling at each other. So as the game went on and they got drunker and drunker, it turns out that they instead of yelling at each other playfully, they started yelling at the Kansas State fans that I was sitting nearby, calling them, you're the purple pussies, you guys can't handle Pac-10 bullshit, you know, that kind of stuff. So years later, fast forward, as the years have gone by since then, my friend, every time we bring up the college football, we talk about college football, he'll always say, oh, worst fans ever. SC has the worst fans I've ever known. They were the biggest pricks when we went out to the game there. And I was like, you know, it's really kind of a shame. I live out here, so I know that there's a lot of good USC fans as well. You know, the majority of fans everywhere are good people that are intelligent and reasonable and you know, enjoy good college football or baseball, whatever the case may be. But it's just a shame now every time I get together with Kelly, his first guttural reaction is, oh, all SC fans are pricks. I just wanted to let you guys know that. Don't let bad fans get in the way of good fans. Don't be pricks. I implore each and every one of you Stitchheads out there, be a good fan and have a good mindset about our sport of college baseball, so that you don't leave a bad impression on the whole of your fan base. So anyway, years winding down. I can't believe it's already been so fast that we're down to our last week of the regular season. Hang on a second. A nice quiet location. That was an Alaskan airliner, by the way. Anyway, everybody's asking a lot about who will be the national seeds, the 8 national seeds that play at home this year. Twist my arm and ask me. I would probably go with, there are 3 teams that I think are locks for it. Arizona State, Texas, and Virginia, I think, are locks to be national seeds playing at home. I also think Florida is close to a national seed as long as they don't screw it up. South Carolina, if they win this weekend, I think they'll be a national seed. And both South Carolina and Florida, as long as they just don't go into the tank, I think they got a good shot at being a national seed. Also, 2 teams very dear to my heart, Louisville and Coastal Carolina, should both be national seeds. I hope they are. My fingers are crossed for them, because I think they're both really good teams, get kind of pulled down a little bit by their conferences. And I like that they've had the balls to go out and play good teams on the road, unlike a lot of the teams at the top. These guys have gone out and they've challenged themselves, and I think that's cool, and I think the NCAA Selection Committee should reward them for that. The last final 8 national seed would probably be, I'm looking at UCLA or Cal State Fullerton maybe. They got a game on Tuesday. I know midweek games aren't normally games that you base a national seed on or base a season on, but it's a big one. I think whoever wins that one might get the last seed. I also think Georgia Tech has a good shot at it if they keep winning all through the ACC tournament. Should be interesting, but I think those are going to be my 8 or 9 teams that will make up the national seeds right now. One thing you have to keep in mind about all those teams, though, almost all of them have proven that they're vulnerable at home. They've all lost in the postseason on their home fields in recent seasons. So I think this year, probably more than ever, you're probably going to look at home field advantage won't be as big a deal as it has been in the past few years, especially with no LSU playing at home this year. American Airlines. Anyway, no LSU playing at home, so I think home field advantage can be a little bit, too fine a point on it this year. I think this year it's going to be kind of more, it's going to be more open than in past years. It won't mean as much. 3 interesting series coming up for this weekend. Georgia Tech and Boston College, but BC is playing to get into the ACC tournament, and I think if they win that series at home, they'll go to the NCAA tournament. If not, they're trying to hold off North Carolina State and North Carolina in the ACC right now. Georgia Tech could, and the other reason it's a big series is Georgia Tech has a chance to be a national seed if they win that series and keep winning in the ACC tournament. I also look at Louisville and Notre Dame. Now, Louisville's pretty set on where they're going to go. They're just trying to get into that top 8, so they can't tank it here. But Notre Dame they're fighting for their lives in the Big East. So we'll see if they end up, if they don't win this series, they might be sitting at home. And Notre Dame's kind of been on the skids lately anyway, so it's kind of going to be interesting to see if they raise their game a little bit this weekend and end up getting into the postseason, the Big East tournament, not the NCAAs, of course. And Arkansas and Vanderbilt, these are 2 teams that are a little bit on the cusp of getting a national, maybe not national seed, but getting home field advantage, at least for the regionals. I think they got a chance to be at home during the regionals. Big series between those 2. Arkansas tanked it really bad against a good South Carolina team last week, so they got a lot to make up for. But Vanderbilt's coming on. They're playing a lot better lately, playing a little bit more up to their level I was expecting them to be earlier this year. So those are 3 series to keep in mind. Of course, the big series this weekend, South Carolina and Florida. For the SEC, obviously, whoever wins that, I think, is assured of a national seed. Even the loser has a chance, as long as they win a few more games in the SEC tournament, to make the NCAA or to make the national seeding as well. So, should be really interesting. I'm glad I picked this nice, quiet spot to do my Baldcast. Hey, that was the University of Maryland plane, or at least the Maryland state flag painted on the side. Anyway, I don't think they're playing out here this weekend. Anyway. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Thanks again for everything. Keep reading, keep writing, and all that kind of stuff. And, the music bed. Here's who the music bed was done by today. Actually hadn't decided by the time I filmed this clip, so there you go. Again, thanks for everything, you guys. Have a good weekend. See you later.